I remember the night the little shepherd girl prayed for a star. It was in a country of rolling hills and stony paths where the wind carries the smell of sheep and wild thyme, and the nights in winter can feel so wide and deep that a child might think the sky could swallow her whole. From up above, as I guided my sleigh through the clear, cold air, I saw those hills spread out like a dark, rumpled blanket, patched with bits of silver where the moon touched rock and stream. I had just finished my rounds in a nearby village, leaving small surprises and houses clustered close together like nestlings in a basket. The streets were narrow, the rooftops dusted with snow, the chimneys puffing out little threads of smoke. Laughter and singing rose up faintly, warm as candlelight. It was Christmas Eve, and the world felt full. But beyond the village, the hills lay quiet. I turned my head and saw a tiny pinprick of light where there should have been only darkness, a small trembling glow on a hillside, far from any house. Curious, I drew gently on the reins, and the reindeer turned, gliding soundlessly toward it. As we came closer, I saw that the light was not from a house or a lantern hanging on a door. It was a little fire, no bigger than a cooking pot, crackling bravely against the cold. Beside it sat a girl. She was bundled in a worn cloak that had seen more winters than she had. Her boots were patched, her mittens rough and fingerless. A woolen scarf wrapped around her neck twice, but still she shivered as the wind tugged at her hair. Around her, a small flock of sheep huddled close together, their breath rising in little white clouds. She stared up at the sky with eyes so wide and full of longing that I felt them from where I sat in the sleigh. I brought the reindeer down behind a rocky outcrop where their hooves would not startle the flock. The bells on their harnesses chimed softly, and one of the sheep raised its head, ears twitching. The girl leaned forward, peering into the night. Something in her seemed to recognize the presence before she understood it. "Who's there?" she called, trying to sound brave. "Show yourself. I have my staff." Her staff was nothing more than a straight knotted branch, smoothed by many hands and many days of walking. But she gripped it like a queen might hold a scepter. I stepped into the light of her fire, boots crunching gently on the frosted ground. She stared at me, then at the red coat, then at the traces of snow on my shoulders. Her eyes grew even larger. She swallowed. "You're him." I smiled. "I am," I said, "and you must be the shepherd girl whose fire I saw from the sky." She blinked. "I didn't think. They say you go to houses, to villages, to places with chimneys and proper doors, not to hillsides and sheep." "I go," I said kindly, "wherever there is a heart awake on Christmas Eve, and yours, my dear, seems very awake indeed." She looked down quickly, embarrassed. "I was only watching," she murmured. "Watching what?" I asked, though I already knew. She pointed upward. The sky was vast and clear, sprinkled with stars like sugar on dark bread. "Them," she said. "I was looking for a special one." "And what would you do if you found it?" I asked. Her fingers tightened on her staff. "I would follow it," she said quietly, "wherever it led." I sat down on a flat rock across from her, letting the fire warm my hands. "That is not a small wish," I said. "Most people are content to watch stars from a distance. You want to chase one." She shrugged, but her face was serious. "My father says our place is here," she replied, "with the flock. My mother is gone. There's only him and my little brother and the sheep. He says someone must stay out with them, even on Christmas. The wolves don't rest, he says. So I stay." Her gaze flicked up to the sky again. "Still," she went on, "I hear the stories. In the village, in the chapel when we go. They talk about a star that once led shepherds and kings to a child in a stable. They say people left their fields and flocks, their work and their worries, and went to see. I wonder what that felt like, to hear the angels, to see the star, to say, 'We will go,' and then go." "And you feel left behind," I said gently. She nodded, swallowing. "I love my father," she said quickly. "He works hard. He is tired. And I love my little brother. I tell him stories at night so he's not afraid of the dark. But sometimes, when I'm out here and the village bells are ringing and I can see the glow of the houses far away, I wish I could be a part of all of it, not just the girl who watches from the hill. I listen to the crackle of the fire, the soft crunch of the sheep moving in their sleep, the wind humming over the rocks. "What is your name?" I asked. "Leah," she said. "Well, Leah," I said, "I have seen many hills and many shepherds over the years, and I can tell you something. The story you love so much began on a hillside not so different from this." She glanced at me, brow furrowed. "But there were angels," she said, "and a bright star, and they got to go." "And you," I said, "are sure there are no angels here? No light? No going that matters?" She gestured around them. "It is only me, the sheep, my staff, the same rocks I see every day. What could possibly happen here?" I leaned forward slightly. "Tell me, Leah," I said, "if an angel came and said, 'Leave the sheep and go to the village, they need you,' what would you do?" She did not hesitate. "I would go," she said, "but I cannot make angels come." "No," I agreed, "but you can listen for the voices that are already calling." She frowned, not understanding. At that very moment, as if the night were helping me make my point, we both heard it, a faint, distant sound carried on the wind, a cough, then another, then a small, hard little sob. Leah's head snapped up. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," I said. "From the direction of those birch trees, I think." She was already on her feet, staff in hand. "Stay," she whispered to the sheep, more out of habit than belief that they would obey. Then she looked at me, torn between suspicion and hope. "Will you watch them?" she asked, "if I go?" "For tonight," I replied. "I'm on watch with you. Go." She ran. Her boots slipped on loose stones, but her staff kept her steady. The sound came again, a child's cough, raw and insistent. Leah pushed through the thin stand of birch trees and found, sitting on a half-buried stone, a little boy no older than 6 or 7. His blanket had slipped from his shoulders. His cheeks were chapped red, and his small hands shook with cold. "Daniel," Leah gasped, "what are you doing out here?" He looked up, eyes hazy with fever. "I came," he rasped, "to find you. Father sent me. He's worried about the new lamb. Says the wolves have been howling closer. He wanted you to bring the flock nearer to the stone wall. I tried, but the wind and—" He broke off, coughing so hard he doubled over. Leah's heart clenched. She knelt beside him and wrapped the blanket back around his shoulders, pulling him against her. "You silly thing," she scolded, voice shaking. "You should have stayed inside. It's too cold for you. I would have come when Father waved the lantern." "He did," the boy whispered. "I saw it, but I wanted to help. I know you get lonely up here. I thought if I surprised you, it would feel like a little bit of Christmas." She closed her eyes for a moment, resting her forehead against his. Then she stood, lifting him as best she could. He was small, but fever made him heavy and limp. From the edge of the trees, I watched her struggle back toward the fire. She stumbled once, nearly fell, then tightened her grip and kept going. When she reached the little circle of warmth, she laid Daniel down on her cloak and piled more wood on the fire until the flames leaped higher. "He needs to get home," she murmured to herself. "But the path is steep, and the wolves?" The distant, eerie howl of a wolf punctuated her words. She shivered, glancing at the shadows beyond the firelight. The sheep shifted nervously. Leah's fingers tightened around her staff once more. "I cannot leave the flock," she said. "I cannot carry him alone. And I cannot call for help loud enough for Father to hear." "You can call louder than you think," I said, stepping forward again. She turned, relief and confusion battling in her face. "Can you help us?" she asked. "I can do a few things," I replied. "But I found that the strongest road is the one your own feet take. Still, every journey is easier with a sign or two." I pointed to the sky. Clouds had begun to gather at the horizon, but above us, a single bright star shone clear and steady, directly over the line of stones that led toward her village. "When you carry him home," I said, "follow that. It will keep you from losing the path. The wolves do not like bright open sky." She stared at the star, then back at me. "Is that for us?" she whispered. "It is for anyone who chooses to walk toward it," I said. "But tonight, yes, I had you in mind." She swallowed hard. "I cannot leave the sheep," she repeated. "Listen," I said softly. From below, faint but distinct, came the sound of a bell ringing. Then another. Leah listened, frowning. "That's the other shepherds," I said. "Your father has sent them up. He saw that Daniel did not return. They are already on their way. Give them a minute, and they will reach the edge of your flock." As if on cue, she saw 2 lanterns bobbing in the distance, coming up the path between the rocks. Voices drifted toward us, calling her name. "They will guard the sheep," I said. "Your task is different tonight." She hesitated only a moment. Then she scooped Daniel into her arms again. "Hold tight," he told him. To me, she added softly, "If I follow the star, do you think I'll reach Christmas?" I smiled. "I think, Leah, that Christmas has been waiting for you to walk this way for a long time." She set off down the hill, stumbling at first, then finding her rhythm. I walked with her for a few steps, though she did not see me. Her breath came in short bursts. Daniel's head rested on her shoulder. The star glimmered above, a quiet guide. Halfway down, she met the other shepherds. One of them gently took Daniel from her arms. "You've done well, girl," he said gruffly. "We'll get him home. Your father is beside himself." Leah nodded, her chest heaving. "I'll come," she said. And she did. Together they made their way down the winding path into the valley, the star above them, the village lights growing brighter with each step. By the time they reached the little stone house where Leah lived, her father was standing at the door, lantern in one hand, the other clenched in worry. When he saw Daniel, he rushed forward. "My boy," he breathed, gathering him in his arms. "My foolish, brave boy." His eyes met Leah's, shining with tears. "And you," he said, "you brought him back." Leah swayed a little with exhaustion. "He came looking for me," she said. "I only followed the light." Her father pulled her into a rough, fierce hug, lantern swinging wildly. "You are my light," he said, "both of you. I should never sent him out, feverish as he was. Forgive me. I was thinking of the lamb, of the wolves, of the work. I forgot how precious you are." Inside, neighbors had already gathered, drawn by the worry and the bell. Someone had brought blankets, another, hot broth, another, herbs to ease Daniel's cough. The small house swelled with warmth and concern. Leah sank onto a stool by the hearth, watching as her brother was wrapped in comfort and care. In the corner, a little wooden carving of a manger scene sat on a shelf, lit by a tiny candle. Leah's eyes drifted to it. For the first time, she did not feel like the story lived entirely somewhere else, in another time and place. It felt as if the same kind of love that once wrapped a child in a stable was wrapping her brother now. Her father followed her gaze. "I heard you talking to Daniel as we came in," he said quietly. "You told him not to be afraid, that you would walk with him, that as long as you could see the star, you would not stop. You sounded like those shepherds we hear about in the stories." She blushed. "I only did what needed doing," she mumbled. He smiled, lines of pride softening his weathered face. "That," he said, "is all those shepherds ever did. They listened, they went, they carried what they could. They did not know their steps would become part of a story told centuries later. They just said yes when love called. Later, when Daniel fell asleep at last, his fever easing, Leah stepped outside. The village bells were ringing now, clear and bright. Light spilled from the windows of the chapel. She could see figures moving inside, hear the faint echoes of a carol. She looked up. The star still shone above the hill, but somehow it felt closer now. Not because it had moved, but because she had. "Thank you," she whispered, "to the star, to the night, to the God she had always wondered about, to whoever had heard her earlier wish. From my sleigh, waiting high above, I watched her. She could not see me now, just as the shepherds long ago could not see all who watched over them. But I saw her, tired, a little small next to the wide sky, yet shining as clearly as any star. You see, Christmas does not always come with angels singing in the air or a bright light splitting the clouds. Sometimes it comes as a small voice calling in the dark, and another voice answering, "I am here." Sometimes it is a girl on a hillside, feeling forgotten, who chooses to carry someone weaker down the path. Sometimes it is a father realizing that his children are more valuable than all his worries. So if you ever feel like Leah did, alone at your post while others seem to be where the joy is, remember her night. Remember how her hillside became holy ground when love gave her a task. Remember that following the star does not always mean chasing something far away. Sometimes it means walking toward the person right in front of you who needs your strength. I will be out there, as always, riding the winter sky. And when I look down and see someone, young or old, stepping forward to help instead of turning away, I will think of the little shepherd girl and the star that shone for her. Merry Christmas, my friend. May you find your own star to follow, and may you discover, as Leah did, that Christmas often finds us not in grand places, but wherever we are willing to say, "Here I am, send me."